Hi, I'm Carrie with EDGEucating, keeping you on the cutting edge of education. This month, what that means is learning a little bit about social emotional learning, SEL. It's a buzzword that's going around right now, and there's lots of curriculums out there, but I wanted to give some tips to those school administrators, those lead teachers on how to start that program without it being a curriculum, something that is a school-wide issue that is being addressed by everyone in some way. So here at EDGEucating, we're always here making sure that you are getting cutting-edge information on hot topics, strategies, products. So if you want to hear more from us, don't forget to subscribe and click the bell to get those notifications. And if you want your friends to learn about us, please share these videos. So let's talk a little bit about SEL, social emotional learning. So when I started teaching, SEL, social emotional learning, didn't even exist. We called it character ed, and we would have a thing every month, maybe a characteristic every month that we would try to focus on. We might have an activity, that sort of thing. Well, social emotional learning has really come a long way. An organization called CASEL, Collaborative for Academic Social Emotional Learning, has come together to study the needs of students, and they came up with 5 domains for the different things that children need to be productive, not only academically, but socially and emotionally. So what I want to do today is give you an idea of things that you could do in your building according to those 5 domains that will give your school a culture of positive social emotional growth. So the very first domain is self-awareness. Now, self-awareness means that I understand what my strengths are, I understand what my weaknesses are, and I have an optimism that I can reach the goals that I set. I know that I'm excited about the things to come and that I can reach those goals. So as a school administrator, how can you foster that to be something that is positive for the students, but it's something that's happening all the time? So what I did as an administrator was really make sure that we are celebrating student accomplishments. I did that every Friday afternoon. Over the announcements, teachers would submit things that happened throughout the week that were positive things going on in their classroom. And then on Friday, I would announce those things so everyone could hear the great things that were happening all over the building. Now, do those things have to be things like he got an A again? No, it might have been that he finally passed that test, and that was that child's goal. It might have been that his picture was voted the best in the classroom. It might have been that kids took it upon themselves to help a substitute who was confused. It could have been anything. But by celebrating those positive accomplishments on a regular basis, the students saw that I understood what they were doing and that we were going to celebrate those positive things as they happened. As a classroom teacher, we need to make sure that our teachers are talking to the students about their progress, about the things that were going right and the things that were going wrong. If students never hear the feedback of what's happening in their classroom related to their discipline, related to their academics, if they don't know where they are on the continuum of life, then they're not sure if they need to put forth more effort. They don't know where to make changes and things to keep doing. So making sure that we have that classroom interaction is something that the school administrator really needs to make sure of. Having a positive self-awareness is extremely important and will be great for your school climate and culture. Domain 2 is self-management. For a student, that means that they can set and work towards goals. And those goals don't have to just be academic. They could be personal goals. For you as a school administrator or as a lead teacher, making sure that students are given the opportunity to see ways to set those goals is great. I always used a school theme, and within that theme, we had our Hall of Fame members. And we wanted students to work towards some very specific goals related to behavior, academics, and attendance. The goals that we set were really attainable with effort. So we made sure that we set goals that kids, not everyone is going to achieve it. You really have to be working hard to get it, but it is a goal that everyone can achieve. And so by having goals that were set in that manner, students are able to see, okay, so there are things that I have to work toward, not necessarily if I want it, I get it. We have to set things that are just a little touch out of reach, so they have to put the effort to reach it. If it's put in their hands, they're really not going to work for it. So self-management not only is setting the goals, but we need to teach students what kind of goals to set. It'll make them work really hard. Domain number 3, social awareness. What that means is that we know not only what societal norms are, but that we are contributing to our entire community in some way. Children start off by understanding what's going on with them, but then they've got to move on to the other people around them. So as a school administrator, you can foster that knowledge by making sure you're sponsoring events like maybe a campus cleanup. So they see that their positive impact, they will see their positive impact on their school as they walk around the building and can see that it's a better place now that they have taken responsibility for it. Then you can reach out even further and maybe have events like food drives for a local food bank. Or maybe your SPCA is looking to have a cat or dog food drive. They're always looking for things like blankets and towels. So just creating events where the children have to think about anyone other than themselves so that they are improving their community. Fostering that kind of a thought process will not only make your students better people, but it also reaches out to all of the stakeholders in your community so that they can see that your school has such a positive attitude, not towards just yourselves, but towards your entire community. Social awareness is extremely important for everyone in the entire community. Domain 4, relationship skills. So relationship skills is managing conflict, handling peer pressure, making sure that your interpersonal relationships are managed in a positive way. But how does a building principal or assistant principal or lead teacher help students deal with these personal relationships? Well, the best way to do that is to use the different people in your building, like counselors and social workers and mentors, for your students to be able to talk to so that we can have proactive discipline. We need to be talking to our students and understanding their body language, and when we see them with a conflict, that we help them through the conflict. We don't need to be there only at the end once there's been a problem. As a school administrator dealing with office referrals, that's dealing with things after the horrible part has happened. If we have proactive discipline, then those relationship skills can be taught as the conflict is happening, not as an afterthought. We have to give our students the tools to deal with things as they are dealing with them. And so proactive discipline is really the way to go. We need to get in touch with those counselors, those social workers. We need to set up things like mentors, people that are going to be talking to these students on a regular basis and will be a person where that child can open up a little bit so that we'll know when conflict is happening and being able to head it off at the pass. It's really a great way to build those relationships in your building. So our fifth and final domain is responsible decision making. This is the opportunity for the child to look back at the decisions that they made and determine if the outcomes were what they were hoping they would be. So in the situation where a child is referred to the office and you are dealing with the fallout of a horrible situation, a great way to help those students learn is for them to understand that the reason they are in your office or the reason why this horrible thing has happened is based on some decisions that they have made. And then those outcomes, and determine if those outcomes were what they were planning to happen. And if those were the outcomes that they were planning to happen and they're in a horrible space right now, then we need to rewind again and decide, well, what are some other decisions that you could make so that we don't have negative outcomes, that we have positive outcomes. Today, I have found that children have a thought in their mind that things just happen to them. They don't see their part in the decision-making process. They react rather than plan. And so they need the tools to be able to understand their part in the decision-making process of positive things happening and negative things happening. So I hope this quick discussion of the 5 domains of social emotional learning has helped you just get a better understanding of how a school-wide approach to SEL is really just as important as an SEL curriculum. We here at EDGEucating, we're always here to try to boost a school's environment in every way, be it academic, STEM, discipline, the climate and culture. We just want your school to be the best it can be. So if you like our videos and you want to hear more from us, please don't hesitate to like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell so you know when we upload more information. I hope your school year is going great. And if you want to hear more from us, we post every month. See you next time.